Does anybody else out there remember Chalkzone? Because I really liked that show as a kid, and I still like it as an adult. For those of you who've never seen it, never heard of it, maybe you were a little too old when it came out, it's a show about an artist, a little boy, who has magic chalk and can use it to draw through any chalkboard surface and go into a land where everything is chalk. Isn't that a brilliant idea? So essentially, everything he draws literally comes to life. I think that is a brilliant statement on imagination, and I mentioned in an earlier video, character's name is Rudy. I had a crush on him as a kid, and such a sweet, likable character. Admit to hating his friend Penny as a kid due to jealousy, but rewatching it again, she's really cool too. She's a scientist, she likes facts, she likes knowledge, and she generally helps plan things out that Rudy draws. She's the brains to his brawn. But they both use their minds to get out of situations. I like that. I like the creativity. I like that the team up is an artist and a scientist, because that's art and science go so well together, and that's a common pairing in my family. So it's nice to see. It is such a feel-good show, and it's done in a very different way than a lot of other shows are done. Namely, there are musical segments after every episode. So different style, different catchy song, and there's 3 segments per 22 minutes as opposed to 2 11-minute segments. I think that's really, really cool. I can't think of too many shows that do that are not variety shows. Music is clearly a big part of the show, too. They have some catchy songs. Now, the person who did the theme song is Guy Moon, who also did Danny Phantom. And it's catchy. There's a really good guitar riff in the theme song. It's incredible. But that show is one that really struck a chord with me specifically, and one that really stayed with me for a long time, because it's positive, it's imaginative. You get some knowledge in there. I like the team up, I like the characters. Now, it's not particularly edgy, it's not like Invader Zim, it's not like Rocko's Modern Life, it's not super wacky. It's a bit on the wackier side, but it feels very genuine and very passionate. And I like that. I like the passion. I like the creativity. I like the ideas behind it and how they're executed. Interesting that with the animation style, I think part of me does wish they could have done a little bit more with Chalkzone, but they give it a really cool texture. It does have a really cool chalk texture. And since chalkboards were already on their way out when this came about, it would have been cool to see different styles if they used whiteboards. Because I was still really young when I remember some chalkboards in elementary school, but mostly whiteboards. That'd been kind of cool to see. Still, I like that you can generally tell that there's imagination and there are stable, positive, cool people behind this. People I'd really like to meet and hang out with. Because every episode you could do something completely different. There are infinite possibilities for where they could go. You could have them in the jungle one episode, you could have them in the desert another episode, and you could have them in their real world, but there's always that possibility of you can go anywhere and the story still works. I like that. You have a bit of the... Oh, and they have some interesting antagonists too. Namely, the teacher, Mr. Wilter. He's very straight-laced, and his specific thing is he does not like cartoons because he doesn't consider it intellectual. He considers that a distraction. And that is very, very true. I knew that growing up. That's so specific. That's a great character. And I feel like this show is a really good one for creative people. Because there are so many ways you can get distracted. There are so many ways that people can put you down and try to turn you off to something you like, but passion and knowledge can really persevere and get past that, especially because a lot of the time it is petty. People will not understand. People won't always understand something you're extremely passionate about, but you'll find the right people, and it's nice to see this team up. The episode I saw, the 3 segments were So Rudy and Penny on a very hot day go into a local quarry, and Rudy tries to go through Chalkzone to get home, but accidentally unleashes the sea into into the real world. As the portal he drew was at the bottom of the sea in Chalkzone, so now he has to get it to rain or get in a large amount of water so the water can wash it all away. Meanwhile, everyone in town sees that the quarry's filling up, and the water has this effect that makes everyone act like a kid and just enjoy the water. It was nice to see that. It was nice to see, because Rudy's parents are generally pretty pleasant people. You do see more antagonistic characters really let loose and be positive and have a good time, which was very nice to see. The episode featured a Native American character doing a rain dance, and I can't speak to the accuracy of it, as I'm obviously no expert, have met maybe one Native American person in passing, but the portrayal it didn't feel like a mockery of, if they got a few things wrong, I wouldn't know, but it feels like it feels a bit more informed than other portrayals of Native Americans. It feels like there was some research done. I'm curious as to how it would fly to that. It does feel a bit more knowledgeable. The characters still felt like a real person. He still used the internet. He still used modern technology. He still felt like a real person. But he was still part of his culture too, that was cool. That was cool to see. Another segment was Snap is trying to go on vacation, but this sleazy car salesman forces this talking van on him, which does not stop singing, doesn't stop talking, is way too happy. The song he sings the entire episode is extremely catchy. I believe that the creators of the show were in a band and really liked music, and that was such a big part of their lives. It shows in this show. And then the last was a music segment, which was catchy as always. So, as you can tell, it never fails to put a smile on my face. I like these characters a lot. I've said that a million times. But it doesn't feel too schmaltzy. I'm reading TV tropes. I have that on this right in front of me right now. And apparently this show had a lot of haters when it came out, when it was running, which honestly surprised me, because it's not one of those ridiculously sugary shows. It's not... But people tended to the older fans wanted something more edgy. People were blaming it for Invader Zim's cancellation, even though they were produced at very different times. So that's a shame, but nowadays it tends to have more fans, which is great. That's great to see. Because it does have a very specific message. It has a very specific way to talk to people. It's got a very unique voice, a unique point of view. Great ideas that are executed wonderfully. And you could still do more of that. I don't know. Could you bring this show back? You could. But I like it. I'd rather just see the reruns. There are still a lot of possibilities you can do for this show, and I like that. It goes with the message of creativity and imagination and positivity, that anything is possible. But it never feels too in your face. It never feels like it's trying to teach you something. It just feels like, hey, this is our stance. We like it. This is our passion. Will you join us? I like that a lot. Good to see. If you ever watch it, let me know what you think, please. Because I'm curious to know. I can't see anybody hating this. Or if it doesn't do anything for you, that's one thing, but passion. It's my kind of happiness. It's my kind of positivity, and it's got a message that resonates very strongly with me. So those are my thoughts on that.